Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. My name is Mars, and today we're going to do a quick news review as well as share some thoughts about this not incredibly amazing Valkyrie profile banner. We'll get to that in a second. We've got some interesting stuff coming this week. Most notably, we have some ability awakenings for a lot of 4-star units, and Barbarisia and Grimlord Sakura, so if you have those 5-star units, yay, those are going to be great. We also have, the story continues, so we have more story, which includes Anima, a new maximum 2-star Esper, and yeah, that's nice. I think he looks cool. It's one of my favorites from Final Fantasy X. Very cool looking Esper. Speaking of Espers, we also have 3-star Odin and 3-star Phoenix that are also coming out, or that have come out today by the time you're hearing this. And I will be fighting Odin for the first time on my live stream at what will be tomorrow or Friday night at 8 p.m. Pacific. So if you want to see that, link to my Twitch channel is in the description. You're welcome to follow there. I'll also make an announcement when I go live, and hopefully you'll get to watch me die a lot, because supposedly he hurts really badly, and I'm looking forward to a bit of a challenge. So, you know, we'll see. Now, as far as other things going on, the new event for this week is a raid. It is themed after Valkyrie profile. And as far as items or equipments from this go, the best one is probably the Rust Red Circlet because of the 50% light resistance. That's going to be amazing on a magic tank. And then I also thought I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, Nibelung ring for 30% dark resistance is not bad for magic tanks as well. If you don't have XP gear from the growth eggs, then Gem of Creation is good, or rather from Action. That's 9's TMR. So if you don't have that, then this Gem of Creation is nice for helping you run the Chamber of XP if that's what you're doing to level your 7-star units. Now, the thing that a lot of people are kind of upset about is the Valkyrie profile banner. I personally don't care that much because I've never played Valkyrie profile, so I apologize for not being the most empathetic. But what I will say is that if you compare the Japanese banner to this one that we're getting, it's pretty not amazing at all. So they're providing effectively 2 different step-up options for you to get the unit that you want. You can do 3 laps on the 25k summon, which the final step gives you a guaranteed one of the 3 rainbow units that's going to be on the banner. Okay, so there's Freya, Lenneth, and Arngrim. So that can get you a random one of the 3 on the last step. And then it's including a step up, one of the 11k step ups for each of the respective rainbows on the banner. So, you know, if there's one in particular you want, you probably want to run the 11k and then start burning some of the 25k laps if that's a unit that you want. As far as the units themselves, they don't actually persist in the meta for very long at all, if at all. I believe Lenneth is a physical damage dealer who does okay damage. Her Trustmaster reward I do not care about because the last thing we need is more dark weapons. And Soothsayer bow is not as good as Aang's bow, to be honest, because his provides killers at least. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of disappointing. I didn't look too much into these kits because one of the things that you'll notice is that many people are pulling on this banner for TMRs or STMRs. And speaking of those, Freya has some good ones. Like, her STMR is obviously very good. It has a high amount of magic, spirit, and HP, so it's a fantastic hat for magic tanks or for magic damage dealers or for healers. Like, it's fantastic for tons of people. But it's also a super TMR, so forget that. Ether Laser is a great magic accessory. It gives the highest flat magic of any accessory currently in the game, which is nice, along with 20% MP, so nice Trustmaster reward. Now, Arngrim is the unit that a lot of people are pulling for simply for the sake of his super TMR. It is a lightning elemental greatsword that is 2-handed, and it increases limit burst damage. So this weapon is honestly really amazing for CG Hyo. This is CG Hyo's new favorite weapon. It's going to ramp up his limit burst damage by, I believe, an additional 30% is what Bahamut Tear does, or Bahamut Tear. And the fact that it's lightning elemental and you get the benefit of damage variance. I mean, it's obviously a fantastic weapon, but we'll get to kind of my issue with it in a second. And then his Trustmaster reward is an attack 40, light resistance 30, counter physical attacks accessory. So decent accessory. I could see it being useful on units that you want some counters from, or just some flat attack. It's not bad. He's kind of a strange unit. A lot of people describe him as being like a tank counter sort of unit, but the thing that most people agree on is that these units are kind of lackluster, and the fact that it's a triple rainbow kind of sucks. So Lucien also gives a 40% attack, 20% spirit with a sword. So this is nice if you don't have any of the 40% attack materias, but by this point we've gotten a few options for those, so you may not need it, especially since it's locked to swords only. So for me, I don't even care about this. And then the last TMR that we're going to look at, because this unit doesn't matter, Jalanda gives a staff that's 98 magic. So again, something that we really do not care about. So, okay, if the units are not that good, and it's a whole collaboration and everything, then why does anybody care about it? There's two reasons. Number one, people like Valkyrie profile, and I think that's fair, to pull units that you want because you want them and because you like them. Totally valid reason to pull for any unit in the game, simply because you want them, you want to use them, and you enjoy them. Perfect. The other reason that people are pulling on the banner is because they want this silly super TMR right here. They want Arngrim's sword. They saw some people in JP use them on their Hyos, and he did a ton of damage, and now they want this sword. Now, let me tell you why this is probably not the best idea to pull for, because in the Japanese version, when you did pulls on the banner, I believe, and I don't recall all of the stipulations, but they made it so that you couldn't pull off banner units when you were pulling, and that was because it was a triple rainbow banner. For the banner and global, they took that away. It's standard rainbow pull rates, as far as we know, unless they come out and clarify or change something. But as it's understood and clarified right now, it's not in the most amazing spot as far as your odds of getting one of the units that you want. So, I don't know if any of you have been pulling on the current Halloween summon with the... wherever it is, the current Halloween banner that is also a triple rainbow banner, but it is absolutely brutal. It is one of the most horrendous banners to ever come to global, because you're just doing raw 10+1 pulls in hopes that you get one of 3 different rainbows without any upped rates for banner rainbow units. So we're getting basically a rerun of this with Valkyrie profile units, and I don't know who the developers headquarters said, yeah, this is a good idea, let's do this twice, let's, you know, make everybody mad because we're gonna do a triple rainbow banner again. I personally don't understand it. This Halloween banner's been a trap banner. Like, I've been very fortunate in that I don't have any of the rainbow units from the original Halloween banner, so I haven't had any like temptation or desire to pull. It sucks, because if you're someone who's going for like just a Sakura or a Lastwell off of that banner, and you pull one of the other ones, you're suddenly going to feel obligated to keep pulling until you get a duplicate of the other one as well. And it's a crappy situation. With Valkyrie profile, it's going to be the same story all over again. It's going to be triple rainbows on a banner that doesn't have rate ups for banner units. You're just basically doing raw 10+1s. And that goes for the step up too. Like, that's just raw 10+1s with a couple of guaranteeds thrown in there. When in the JP version, if you pulled a rainbow, it was guaranteed to be a banner unit. Now, there were 3 different ones that it could be, but it was still a 1% chance for the one unit that you were hoping for. And that's the major difference, is that you don't have that benefit. So now you have 1/3 of 1% chance of a rainbow being the one that you're going for, or a 1/3 of 1% chance of any single pull being the rainbow that you're going for. So honestly, it's horrendous. Like, to the people out there who are dead set on Arngrim's STMR, like, I salute you, I wish you luck, I hope you get what you want and that it doesn't it doesn't ruin you. But for me, it just makes it the most unappealing banner to come so far, especially when the comparison is to the Japanese version. So for me personally, it's pretty frustrating, even though my intention was never to pull on that banner to begin with. But it's frustrating to me because it frustrates the community as a whole to see things like this and to have such dramatic differences between the things that the Japanese version of the game gets and that global gets. And so for me, I'm personally frustrated by it because it's dumb, and there are going to be people out there who will chase Arngrim's STMR for their Hyo anyways, and honest to goodness, I don't think I could recommend against that more strongly. And there are going to be people out there who, you know, for collection purposes, they want each of the units or whatever, and it's just without what the Japanese version of the game got, it's super rough, and it honestly it makes me uncertain about things going forward in the game. Because one of the things that people take comfort in, for example, Xenogears is a very anticipated collaboration that will likely eventually come to the global version of the game. And that one is also a multi-rainbow banner. I think it's even more than 3, and it's more than one banner. Like, it's a huge deal. Tons of units, tons of banners. But on that one, they implement a system that allows people to pull the unit of choice that they want from the limited time banner after so many pulls. Well, who's to say that the developers are not going to take that away when that comes to global? And so for people who are planning accordingly and are anticipating these units, it's going to be a tough sell to ask people to, on average, invest more to get the same amount out of it, or even less. And so for me, it's frustrating and a little bit alarming to see just as a pattern going forward. Honestly, I would hope that, you know, there's got to be something that sells global as a better game. And maybe it's just the fact that the global market is different and we respond to things differently. And maybe we shouldn't compare global to the Japanese game because it is different. You know, the slowed down pace of 7 stars has also slowed down the pace of power creep, which is a nice thing. It allows people to enjoy more units for longer. It allows people to enjoy units that they already have. But at the same time, when you have a way to look into the future and see, okay, this is something that I can expect down the road. This is something that I can anticipate and look forward to. You know, I'm going to scrimp and save and make it by until that point, and then to kind of have that taken away from you, or to have it reduced or to be less than it could be. I mean, I get why it's frustrating. For me, I haven't been personally burned by this with the Valkyrie profile banner, but man, I get it. Like, this is a big downgrade. Another example of like a downgrade that they did was for the Sephiroth step-up banner. And I understand that a lot of the reason people were excited about that initially was because of the increased rainbow rate on the 4th 10+1 pull, if I recall correctly. So people were getting rainbows left and right in the Japanese version, and they took that away for the global version. And I was a little miffed by that, but not that much, because, you know, I wanted to pull for Sephiroth, I wanted Lila, you know, those units still had their guarantees and things like that, and the other off-banner rainbows were just a bonus. But in this case, the fact that you don't get any guaranteed banner units even from this, that, you know, you could be dumping 10+1s into these Valkyrie profile banners and get nothing but Delitas and Dark Knight Cecils, like, that's just, I don't know. If I was looking forward to Valkyrie profile, I personally would feel pretty devastated about that. So my verdict on the whole thing: enjoy the raid, enjoy the game. Like water off a duck's back, as they say. Don't spend on the banner. If you know, I always have the rule that I follow. If you want a unit, get the unit. Like, just go for it. No harm in polling. Nobody's gonna think less of you if you really want a unit, or if you really want something from a particular game. It doesn't matter how good they are. It doesn't matter how bad they are. And yeah, it ultimately doesn't matter how difficult they are to get, or if Gumi's screwing global or whatever. None of that matters. If you want a unit, go for it. Like, more power to you. For those who are considering pulling simply for the items, or simply for the STMRs, or for any of those other reasons, or who, you know, were kind of waffling on it, I'm personally not going to be spending, and I'm not the type of person who wants to make a call for action or anything, but for me, I'm not spending on this banner. I would never in 1,000 years pull on a triple rainbow banner without raid ups. And I would have thought that the lesson would be learned from the Halloween banner, but apparently not. So, you know, for me, that's that. So, if it's a banner you want, or units that you want on the banner, go for it. Otherwise, it's very wise for you to just save your lapis, save your resources, your tickets, and things like that, because other better things come. And for those who are concerned about like where the meta is going, for example, like Arngrim's STMR is a big deal for a lot of people who are concerned about like, well, what about my Hyo, or what about this, you know? Okay, let's look at Hyo for a second. We have, where is it? Oh yeah, that little guy right there, Tonitrus. That is a Thunder Sword. It gets the job done. No, it does not do as much damage as the STMR, but does it matter? To this day, there's not a fight that they've released that we can't one-shot with the gear that we already have, and so the fact that people are feeling impelled to pull for this super TMR because it's, you know, the next best in slot piece and it's limited and never coming back, whatever. Dude, forget about that. Like, there are better things in this game to enjoy than trying to like push for a best in slot. And the other thing I will say about that too is that eventually a unit will come to the global version by the name of Crimson. He's another FFBE original unit, and he comes with his own story event, and he also has an STMR that is on the same level of power, except it is a fire weapon. So for those who, you know, were tempted just for the Arngrim STMR or just for the items or whatever, consider that in the future there are going to be alternatives, and for now there are viable substitutes. Like, if you have Nalu's STMR, perfect, use that. If you have Tonitrus, perfect, use that. Like, if you have Dendelga or Flaming Blade Agni, like, those are great. If you have Squall's TMR and you have a way to imbue, use that. Like, all of that works. This game, and I've said this in other videos, this game's not that hard. You can get by without having the best items in the game at the moment, because they're all going to get crept away. They're all going to get replaced by other things. Don't go crazy on this banner, because, I mean, I've already been seeing sob stories in the subreddit about the Halloween banner. People who have been pulling for the one unit on the banner that they want and just never ever getting it, and we're just going to get a repeat of that with Valkyrie profile. And so I would just admonish people who are going to pull, you know, consider it carefully. And as always, if it's a unit that you want, if it's not an item you want, don't let anything stop you. Obviously, play the game the way that you want to. For me, I'm out. You know, I can't do that. Too rich for my blood, too rich for many other people who spend significantly more than I do. And it's just not worth it. Like, the payout is not worth it. So, but if you're a Valkyrie profile fan, go for it. More power to you. So, that's basically the whole recap that I wanted to go over, share my thoughts about the banner, because it is really frustrating to get this back-to-back, especially when we know what the Japanese version of the game got. It sucks. Like, I wanted people to be able to get the units that they wanted easily without having to, you know, stress about off-banner units or this, that, the other. So those are my thoughts on it. Honestly, do what you want, as always. The game is yours to play. But for me, it's such a big letdown, and honestly, it's a trap, just like the current Halloween banner that we've got going on, and I wanted to warn people of that. So that's my warning. Take it as you will, do as you like. I honestly don't care. I'm not your dad. Do what you like. And yeah, I'm looking forward to, you know, more of the content from this game. This isn't by any means like me ragging on the game or anything. It's just saying that, like, the situation with the summon banner, it's frustrating. 2 limited time, triple rainbow banners back to back without raid ups for banner units sucks. And there's no other way to paint that. So, with that said, I will see everybody on Friday. I've got my live stream Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific. I will see you there, and we'll have some fun, and we'll pretend like Valkyrie Profiles banner doesn't exist, because that's what I'm going to do. So, see everybody on Friday.